Between this piece from Jacob Bernstein in the New York Times and the casting announcement for the character of Harris in Heated Rivalry, there has been a lot of discussion lately about bears and baby bears, who are known as cubs. But what exactly is a bear, and why is it such an important queer subculture? Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. As with so many parts of our cultural history, the origin of using the term bear to describe burly, hairy, gay and bisexual men is a little fuzzy. Sorry. Couldn't resist. According to bear historian Dr. Les Wright, we first see the term recorded in the meeting minutes of a gay Los Angeles area motorcycle club called the Satyrs in 1966. They recorded having a bear club within their ranks. There are also plenty of eyewitness accounts of the term being in broad use across the country by the 1970s, but we first see it in print in The Advocate on July 26, 1979. The Advocate invented bears in the same way that Newsweek invented bisexuality. In a tongue-in-cheek article titled Who's Who at the Zoo, written by George Mazzei and illustrated by Gerald Donnellan, The Advocate described various types of queer people, mostly men, as animals you might find at the zoo. Bears were described as good-natured, hunky-chunky types, whereas cygnet swans were elegant and beautiful and snobs about absolutely everything. Tag yourselves, I think I'm the owl. What we now think of as the bear subculture started to coalesce in San Francisco in the early 1980s, but it became a fixed part of the broader queer culture in 1987, when Richard Bolger and his partner Chris Nelson founded Bear Magazine. What started out as a hand Xerox zine quickly grew into a glossy, full-color magazine that was chock full of photo spreads and erotic stories and personal ads. Bear Magazine published quarterly and distributed internationally at the height of its popularity. It stopped publication in 2010, but just a few months ago, the owner, Richard Jones, announced that Bear Magazine will return to print in September of 2026. Bears subvert the stereotype that all gay men have to be sleek and youthful and urbane. According to Jack Fritcher, bears embody what he calls homomasculinity, a subculture of gay men who self-identify with the traditional image of masculinity. Peter Hennon, on the other hand, maintains that bears embody Judith Butler's gender trouble because they force people to confront the assumptions that they make about gender. I tend to fall into the second camp, at least when we're talking about bears in history, because one of the things that set the bear subculture apart from the rest of the queer male community in the 1970s and 80s was their rebellion against the culture of cruising for fast and anonymous sex. At the time, many bears would put small teddy bears in their back pockets instead of hankies to indicate that they wanted kissing and cuddling with their spicy adult time. They linked the stereotypical physicality of masculinity with the stereotypical softness and emotional vulnerability of femininity. In his foreword for the Bear book, Tim Martin writes, "The bear movement is a critical development in our gay male subculture. The phenomenon confronts some of the most basic gay male stereotypes and attitudes on which many of us have based our own identities. We're not dealing with some fad here, though there are fad-like elements, but rather a real development in how many gay men see themselves. Nor are we dealing with some issue of physical taste. The bear subculture goes deeper than skin and body hair." That book was published in 1997, so I just want to pause and make it explicitly clear that bisexual men have always been a part of the bear community. We have some great scholarly work on the bear subculture from the late 90s and early 2000s, but the bi erasure is real. According to this paper, bears make up somewhere between 14 and 22% of the queer male population. There are more than 1.5 million self-identified bears in the United States alone. It is a large and vibrant community with its own slang, sometimes called bear speak, its own fashion, which can overlap with the leather community, but doesn't always, and its own flag. There is also a thriving global industry of bear-oriented bars, festivals, regional clubs, dating and hookup apps, you name it. In a 2022 interview with Attitude magazine, DeAndre Smith, pictured here, described being greeted with love the first time he went to a bear event in Palm Springs. He said, "When I think about bears, I think of Baloo from the Jungle Book. He was so friendly, loving, and chose to push the barriers of the norm with a carefree mindset about society's view of him. To me, that's what a bear is." That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources and further reading, is available in the usual place.